Hey you guys, it's Nurse Abalori from Caregivers In-House coming to you with a new video. And I thought that I would come and reintroduce myself to you all, to the YouTube community, the Facebook community, LinkedIn, Instagram, all the communities, TikTok, all of the communities. Just to let you guys know about Caregivers In-House, its intent, its purpose, its mission, its vision, and the 5 pillars that I have laid out as it relates to Caregivers In-House and how we focus on caregivers here. So our vision and mission, if you guys are new to me, I am Nurse Abalori. I am a board certified registered nurse of over 30 years experience in the geriatric, hospice, and palliative care communities. I also assist caregivers who are caring for their loved ones navigate this world of caregiving by coaching them through their issues, their concerns, and kind of just helping them get more centered as it relates to caregiver wellness. And so, you know, the mission here at Caregivers In-House is to dedicate to fostering the holistic well-being of caregivers through a blend of compassionate services and empowering caregiving. I'm giving you guys the short and nitty of my mission. And then the vision is creating a sanctuary where holistic well-being and spiritual care converge, guiding caregivers on a transformative journey towards balance and resilience in a thriving life. And so that is the vision. And here at Caregivers In-House, there are 5 main principles or 5 main pillars that I choose to honor and go by. And these are 5 pillars that myself as a professional and a personal caregiver, I kind of found that we needed to focus on a lot more than just, oh, does the caregiver have resources? Does the caregiver have what they need for caregiving? Is the caregiver equipped to care for this person? And I kind of wanted to do things a little different and put emphasis and focus on the caregiver. And so these are 5 pillars or main, I would say, the main things that I discovered that I needed or that was needed when I was giving personal caregiving to my mother around this time last year. And so I kind of just wanted to put these pillars together as I decided to revamp Caregivers In-House and realize that it's not it's things that are missing. It's things that are missing in the world of caregiving that I don't think we put a lot of focus on, especially here in the medical community. And the 5 pillars are holistic well-being and support. So this for the caregiver is providing physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being for caregivers. This pillar emphasizes on the integration of wellness and the dimensions of adding a holistic approach to caregivers and them giving their care to themselves. And so meaning what I would like to do is focus on the mind, body, soul, and spirit of the caregiver, because a lot of times that gets missed in the mundane chores of caregiving. And even with that, some of these caregivers' souls are weary. They feel beaten down mentally, not even physically. We're not even going to mention the physical toll that it takes on being a caregiver. But some of these caregivers experience all of these 5 things going on at one time. So their spiritual is affected, their emotional wellness is affected, their soul is affected, their mental is affected, as well as their physical. And so I kind of wanted to bring a more holistic approach, and I don't want to say treat, but just give them a place where they can come and get the support that they need. Even if they're lacking in one of those dimensions, we can find ways to help them cope and build that dimension up so that they do not lack. The second is educational resources and guidance. For a lot of my clients, this pillar is probably top tier because most caregivers are thrown into the world of caregiving. They do not have medical experience or a healthcare background. It's simply, I now got to take care of mom and dad. I now got to take care of grandma. I now got to take care of my aunt or my auntie, and I have never worked in a caregiver field. I don't specifically know what that is. What am I supposed to do? I don't understand the diagnosis. And so here at Caregivers In-House, I provide lots of education to caregivers in relation to the disease process, the things that they're going to see from their loved ones, what's to be expected, what's the unexpected. And within that, I talk to them specifically a lot about hospice and palliative care, because some of these patients are towards nearing the end of life. And so what we need to do is make sure that they're comforted and they're supported, in their last days here on earth. So I do offer, a lot of educational and resources, especially to the caregiver when they're in need of extra supplies, extra resources at home. If they need respite care, they need time off, I coach them through the process of how to get that as well. The third pillar that I focus on, you all, is community and support networks. This specifically ties into the community that I am building specifically for caregivers. Whether you are a professional or personal caregiver, you can join this community. However, this community focuses on the lay care person, the lay caregiver, the one who doesn't have a medical background, a healthcare background. This is where they can come. This is where they can connect. This is where they can get the tools and the support they need to equip them with the knowledge to be a better caregiver. Sometimes it takes us being amongst the people that understand our journey for us to feel supported and loved as caregivers, because now we're amongst the people that truly, truly, truly know how we feel. And so we can express themselves. Oftentimes these people have gone through this, or they're currently going through this, and that they can share what they've gone through to others that can inspire and help them in their caregiver journey. So again, this is why I believe this pillar is probably, I would say, the second important outside of holistic wellness and supportive care. The fourth pillar here is personalized coaching and consultation. This could be something as simple as a caregiver coming to me because they have questions, they have concerns, they themselves are not sure of what they should be doing, if they're doing it right. And also, caveat off of that, one of the things that I do, I often go out and I visit places where caregivers may be interested in putting their loved one if they can no longer care for them at home. So there's different gambits here at Caregivers In-House that I can provide to caregivers. But personalized coaching is tailored to that particular individual, what their needs are, what they're going through, and how I can guide them through this process of caregiving. Lastly is faith-centered approach. So you guys know here I do caregiver Fridays. It's called Caregiver Revival, and it's every Friday where we come together, or at least I try to make it every Friday where we come together. We read scripture, we pray, we meditate, we journal, and I give you guys just a few mindful things that you can do to help you in your caregiver journey. Sometimes sitting, some people think as caregivers, I don't have time to sit. I can't sit. I have to be busy from 5 in the morning till 10, 11 o'clock at night. And that is not so. And so even if you aren't taking time out during the week for yourself, I encourage you to join Caregiver Revival. It is where we take about 30 minutes, and 30 minutes out of your day is not going to stop your day. It's not going to stop your caregiving duties. You owe it to yourself to take time to debrief, de-stress, release, pray, meditate, and just get through the week of being a caregiver. And that's why I specifically put it on Fridays, because a lot of times we harbor a lot of feelings throughout the week as caregivers, and the weekend sometimes can be our time to unwind. Now, again, I know for some caregivers, this is a 24/7, 365 task that you're being asked to do. And so you say, well, Evalori, I don't get the weekends off. I don't get Saturday and Sunday off. And I wholeheartedly 1000% agree. You don't, especially if you are the primary or the sole provider that's providing the care. But however, this is even more vital that you come and join us on Caregiver Revival, because you can set aside 30 minutes of your day to just debrief, to sit, to listen. Baby, the one that you're giving care to is going to be okay. What is going to happen is what is going to happen. And that is what I honestly have to tell a lot of my caregivers. It is going to happen whether we want it to or not. Life is not going to stop just because we took 30 minutes to ourselves. Life is going to keep on lifing. It is going to keep on doing this thing. It's going to keep on moving, but that's why it's important for us to take the time that we need for ourselves. And so with that being said, the things that I focus on here along with the pillows is, what are the main challenges of my caregivers? How are these challenges affecting their personal and private life? Because you have some caregivers that may only do caregiving during the day and they go home to their families in the evening. You may have some that do caregiving in the evening and the nighttime, and then they have to go home to their families in the daytime. What if you are a caregiver and you just realize that there is no time for you? How can you cope? Because you are just in it 24/7, 365. There are ways for you to cope. Other things that I like to talk about with my caregivers, what things that you did in the past, have you still implemented them? The things that help you regain, your mental sanity, are you still doing them? Did those things help you in the past? Why did you stop? Did they not work? What caused them not to work? So we focus on behaviors as well, because a lot of times our successes and our failures are dictated on our behaviors, and sometimes we migrate back to those bad behaviors because they feel comfortable. If you are a caregiver and you say, I normally get up at 6 a.m. just to spend 15 minutes, taking deep breaths, stretching, praying, and then all of a sudden I stopped because I wanted to lay in bed an extra 15 minutes, but by the time I get up, I have to get myself together. I have to get my loved ones together. I have to do things in the home. Well, why did you stop getting up? Was it because you were too tired to get up? Or you're not going to bed? Or do you have so much on your plate that you worry at night to the point where you're still awake 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning? So when it's time to get up to pray and meditate, you don't have the strength to do it? Like what caused this pause to happen? What caused you to stop? And so again, one of the other things I just touched on is that we talk about patterns of behaviors and what is affecting them. That is the things of what do my caregivers need. The other thing is, what are they envisioning for their life? One of the things as caregivers we don't talk about is what happens when this caregiving journey is over with. I know personally for me, when my mom passed away suddenly, she was in the hospital for 21 days, and just like that, in a blink of an eye, she was gone. I did not think about what my life was going to be like once this was all over with. Once I had to process, her death, what that meant for the funeral, the process of getting the funeral, the process of getting her body from one state to another. What I did not process that once all of these things end and life goes back to normal, what is that going to look like for me? I never stopped to process what is my life going to be like going forward. The only thing that I was able to process is that I knew is that my mom left behind a 12-year-old, my younger brother, that I now assume custody and care of. And so that was the only sure thing that I knew, is that I've now gone from being a parent of one to now a parent of two. And so I did not stop to think about what my life was, what my life was going to be like now having two kids, to take care of. especially in the process of me having one who was graduating, and right after graduation last year is when my mom got sick. So here I am thinking, I'm going to be living this carefree life. My child is out of school, he's grown, he's going to be off to college, I get to enjoy life, to now boom, no you're not, you're now going to be responsible for taking care of a 12-year-old. And he was actually 11 at the time. So I did not stop to envision what my future was going to be like. The future that I envisioned obviously is not the future that I have now. But however, I tweaked it. I still have the future that I envisioned for myself, but I just got to do things a little bit differently now. And so the last question that I always ask my caregivers is, how can they make long-term changes, especially when it comes to their health and wellness? A lot of caregivers are neglectful in going to their doctor's appointment, getting the tests that they need, getting the labs that they need, exercising, eating good, lowering stress, taking medication. What are we as caregivers going to do in the long term to help us cope with the stresses of being a caregiver? Do we have a long-term plan? This is where I come in to help give caregivers a thought process of what is going to be my long-term plan. Even if your caregiver journey lasts for a few years, what you still can derive a long-term plan while being a caregiver. And so those are some of the things that, I like to focus on here at Caregiver Zen House. Including in Caregiver Zen House, I am also going to make sure that my caregivers will have journals, that they're able to journal their thoughts. I'm embarking on setting a class for caregivers on how they can better incorporate self-care. We're also going to make sure that we do some type of retreat, even if it's local, something that my caregivers in the community, in my local community, can get together and do. I may think of down the road, what is a long-term retreat for caregivers all over to come in and to commune together. And so a lot of this is just the things that I thought about that I wished I had as being a personal caregiver versus being a professional caregiver. And so these are the things that I wish that I had contemplated on, the things that I know that now that I sit back and I'm at the tail end of this journey, or I'm at the end of this journey, what are some of the things that I didn't do, that I was neglectful in doing, that I should have done, that I didn't do. And even though I am a nurse, it is totally different when you're going from a professional caregiver to a personal caregiver. The thought process is totally different. And so that is why I had to go back and re-strategize, my mission, my vision, and the pillars of Caregivers In-House, because these are the things that I know if I struggle with, then I know that the next caregiver is also struggling with. So that is it, you guys. I wanted to come in, reintroduce Caregivers In-House. Make sure you guys follow me here on YouTube. I am Caregivers In-House on all social media platforms. Except for TikTok, that is kind of a different platform. That's kind of more of the laid back journey, home life, traveling, things like that. But as far as Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I am also on there as Caregivers Zen House. And along with that, I encourage you guys to share this out to any caregivers that you may know, professional or personal, and let them know that there is a place for them here at Caregiver Zen House. And so until the next time, I'm wishing you a happy, loving, and supportive caregiver journey. See you guys in the next video.